Generative AI is going to be the most transformational technology in our lifetime. And so we're seeing some really big opportunities in the media entertainment space around what you can do with generative AI. We really spent the last 5 years focused on the data side of the equation, and many of us have been involved in laying that data foundation, but what generative AI is going to do is unlock the creative side. And we know that a lot of the heavy lifting of a conversion comes from how good that creative is, but there's been such a high bar for advertisers to come in and get that creative going, and especially personalized creative. And so what generative AI is going to allow marketers, advertisers, publishers to do is bring that bar down and really enhance the amount of A, the content that's being created, and B, the personalization. So if today you're doing A/B testing, tomorrow you're doing A to Z testing.
So what are some of the top challenges that organizations are confronting, especially in the media and entertainment business, when they adopt these new technologies?
Yeah, so generative AI, obviously there's some concerns around that in the media and entertainment industry, rightly so. The actor and writer strike was really focused on these issues. And when we talk to media companies, there's really two areas that they're primarily concerned about. One is on the rights side. So how was the data obtained that's being used in these generative AI models? Was it legally obtained, from an ethical perspective? And then the second area I would say is really around brand safety. So is the content that's being generated fit into my brand guidelines? And these are two areas that Adobe specifically is really strong in. Everything Adobe has done in the generative AI space is legally obtained through Adobe stock footage. And so it's really a differentiator in terms of the enterprises that we work with in the media entertainment industry look to Adobe because we are that kind of gold standard in how that information was obtained. And then from a brand safety perspective, our tools allow the generative AI, to be checked against those brand safe. Like we actually have checks and balances against those brand safety guidelines for a media entertainment company.
But I was wondering if there are any other current or future use cases you see for Gen AI that media and entertainment companies haven't considered.
So what we've seen media entertainment companies really start is with ideation and storyboarding. So how do you come up with that idea? That's a process that today could take weeks or even months to come up with that initial image or video of what kind of the story is. I'll give you an example. Let's say, I don't know, I'm LeBron James on a throne, King LeBron. So you have to have the throne, you have to have the crown, then you put. So you can work with a designer, and that could take up to 2 weeks to develop something like that. With generative AI, that can be developed in a matter of minutes, and then you can look at it and say, oh, I want to add a scepter and take away that. All these things that would take weeks or months now takes minutes or hours. And so that's one area that we're seeing a lot of traction in terms of generative AI. And the second area I would say is on creative asset variations and localization. So, another sports example here, Shohei Ohtani. I want him in Dodger Stadium. I want to see him in Yankee Stadium. I want to see Shohei Ohtani on the moon. I can take that image of Shohei Ohtani and then really quickly superimpose the other localization of those places behind them. And these are just examples that obviously resonate in the media entertainment industry. In terms of global, the global footprint that media entertainment companies have, now you can, in a matter of minutes, localize across 200 countries. And so, the asset variations is definitely another area. We talked about personalization. That really happens through being able to take one asset and create many versions of that asset very quickly in an automated way. And that's what generative AI brings to the table.
Wow. So looking ahead, let's say the next 6 months to a year, what do you see coming? Is there anything you're excited about in this space?
So I'm really excited about our recent announcement at Adobe Max Summit around Firefly for video. So for the first time, generative AI is going to be able to be used in Adobe's tools for video. And we've done some really interesting things in our Creative Cloud around generative fill and filling in some of a picture or an image that's not there. We're going to do the same thing in video. You can extend the video. Sometimes if you go out on a shoot and you don't get the video for the exact amount of time that you need, now that can be extended. The great thing about this generative AI capability, and we think is another real differentiator, is it's within the workflow and the tools that exist today. So a lot of people are using Adobe creative tools today, and to be able to have the generative AI built into those existing workflow and tools is going to be where the automation comes in versus adopting a whole another tool that's on the outside just for this one component of generative AI.